We have a temperature reading here of 83 degrees. Joining us this morning is Travis. Travis Little is with Missouri Baptist Hospital, the Radiology Department. Good morning, Travis.
Good morning, John.
Good to have you here. I was in there last week.
Wonderful.
No,
I mean,
we
we always like people to come, but obviously, to take care of their needs.
Yeah, I had an X-ray, and of course nothing's wrong, but the doctor wanted to do an X-ray, and it is really convenient, isn't it? Your doctor orders it, you just go down the hall and get it done.
It is. It's nice and convenient on, general X-rays and stuff like that. It's real convenient, and that's what we're here for, to turn everything over quickly so you can get your answers as fast as you can.
Well, and I was going to say that you get people in right away, don't you? I mean, a lot of times same day.
We normally do. That's one of the. I want to come in this morning is talk about the whole process. A lot of times people misunderstand the process of how they go about getting imaging studies and from start to finish, what that looks like.
Should people be worried about getting cancer from things like CAT scans and X-rays and that sort of thing? I mean, you have people that work with it, and they're right there in the room every day.
Absolutely. We wear, I've got one on. We have radiation badges, and we monitor it. We're in the room. We get some dosing, but it's highly regulated. The biggest thing about that is people need to realize for things like a regular. We're still waiting for the entrances to catch up with the technology. It's FDA approved. It's just some of them haven't decided to cover that portion.
I have a real problem with insurance because, first off, you catch it early, it's going to save the insurance company money.
Absolutely.
It can't cost that much more than a regular mammogram. I mean, insurance companies need to catch up on some of these things.
Absolutely. And that's one of the frustrations with us. We want to provide this new technology. Our physicians feel it's better. We've seen the outcomes, which are better, but yet, we still have some insurances that aren't covering it. So BJC has made an effort to try to reduce the amount on those patients that the insurances won't cover. We're only charging $25 for that exam extra instead of for the patient. If your insurance doesn't cover it, as opposed to the real amount charged that can be charged. So we reduced the amount on that to make it reasonable.
So now every time you get a new piece of equipment, you don't go out and hire a whole bunch of new technicians. So do they have to get training on all this stuff?
We do specific training. They come in and we do applications training with the staff. Normally, new equipment, the technology advance, the basic function of the study is still the same. We have a highly trained staff. We're ACR accredited, which is the American College of Radiology. That's the highest standard out there in the imaging industry to qualify not only our machines, but also our technologists have to meet a certain requirement. So you just can't bring anyone off the street. We look for the highly trained staff. We work with the schools and bring in, specialized people just for those studies.
And everybody's guilty of asking that technician or the doctor that's doing the reading or whatever what it says. they're not allowed to say. I didn't even ask last time, but I know that they're really not allowed to say till your own physician talks to you.
That's correct. The technologists, they're not physicians. They're people there to perform the studies, get the image quality so that those images then can be given to a radiologist or your surgeon or doctor, for they can do their own reading on that and give a high quality. That's a misconception that we do the image and yes, the report is available, right away. Usually we're seeing in our department around 96% of the studies that we perform are read, and there's a final report ready in 4 hours. Does that mean you get those results in 4 hours? Not necessarily. That'll depend on your physician's office on how quick they turn those around. That's a common frustration with patients. Like, well, it's 2 days. I haven't got my results. I'm like, well, they're ready. The doctor's office just haven't had an opportunity to review those studies, and they're the best people to review those reports for you because they know your entire history and what's going on with you. If you ask the radiologist there reading the studies, we don't have that whole patient chart in front of us, and we don't know your history of what's going on. So yes, we can tell you what's on that image, but to actually do the treatment and follow-up studies and prescribe your medications and what they need to do next, that really needs to go back to your physician.
In Missouri Baptist, physicians are pretty good about that. I mean, I had mine done on Tuesday morning. He called me Tuesday afternoon.
Absolutely. We try to tell everyone, reports are ready same day, but it may be 2 to 3 days for your doctor to get back to you. And that just gives them time to prepare. Just because they have the report doesn't mean they're ready to talk to you about that. They may be planning next steps for you right. As far as contacting, maybe you need a surgeon based on the studies. They're working ahead to try to find out what the next steps are for you and to get that lined out before they call you and just say, here's the results.
Do you have problems with the MRI of people being claustrophobic?
It's pretty rare anymore. It used to be, it seemed like a lot more people would say, claustrophobic, can't take it. But we're finding more and more of those people that say they're claustrophobic, really once we get in there and kind of reassure them and relax them, they do really, really good. Used to hear a lot about open MRIs. Open MRIs are kind of, falling off the technology side because the image quality is okay. It's not as high as these big bore scanners that you see now. I mean, we're able to pick up and do things a little differently.
What generation are you on the MRI? Since just when you've been here,
we're still in the same machines as I've been here. It's a 1.5 Tesla. It's still a great machine. We are looking in the next 2 or 3 years of replacing that equipment because BJC makes an effort to try to keep up with the highest equipment. Not that machine is bad on technology. It's still very, very viable, but we want to go to the next level and continue to provide that top level service.
But that's expensive to do, isn't it?
It's very, very expensive. An MRI machine runs anywhere between $1.5 to $3 million, and that's just the machine alone. That doesn't include the cost of taking equipment out and reinstalling and getting everything set up. There's a lot involved when you look at that equipment.
Well, and then you try to keep the cost down as well. So.
Yeah, you're keeping the cost down because just because you put in new equipment doesn't mean you're getting paid any more for those exams. It's just a matter of updating technology and going to a higher level.
If there's an emergency, a wreck or something like that, do you have people on duty 24/7?
Yeah, we have X-ray staff on duty 24/7. We're now providing CT coverage 24/7 just because things that come in the ER, CAT scan type exams seem to become more and more popular national. It's just a big trend. Things are moving more to the CAT scan because it's quick. It provides a really high resolution diagnosis fast.
Nobody likes to wait. You don't like to wait. I don't like to wait. When you get people in your office, the wait time's not that long, is it?
A scheduled procedure or walk-in procedure, if you've waited more than 15 minutes in our radiology department, there's something going on. Either A, we're having some equipment, issue, or we got inundated with just a mass, ED trauma type situation. We like, our outpatients to understand that we are providing service to emergency rooms and inpatient floors. The emergency room patients, when critical, does come before our outpatient, but we move things through pretty quick. Our wait times are very, very minimal. Most time you're under 5 to 10 minutes easily, which you won't see that. You go to the city and go to some of the bigger hospitals. You may have longer waits than that just because of the pure volume that they're seeing, and we have an opportunity to make that difference here.
Is that a good profession still to get into?
Still a great profession. It was down a little bit in the last couple of years. Now we're starting to see it pick up. Ultrasound is there's a big need in the community, not just here, but in the St. Louis area and over the state of Missouri for ultrasound. MRI is still a really hot item. I think CAT scan will be continue to be hot in the near future. So we work with several schools, the Rolla Technical School, Cox College down in Springfield, and Forest Park College and Mizzou actually all have programs, and they're all great programs, and we have students that come into those. So when you come into our department, your procedure may actually be performed by one of our students' programs that we have there. Technologists overseeing them, but that's the way we get the high quality staff that we get, because we put them through some pretty heavy training before they ever get out into the real job market.
And those are good jobs too.
Oh, they're great. Great career. To look at going forward. My staff seem to do really, really well with it. It's very professional. There's a lot of career advancement opportunities, and there's a lot of satisfaction from doing that job. It's one of those jobs that you can be really satisfied as an individual and enjoy what you're doing.
How often should a lady have a mammogram?
Mammograms, we're still promoting every year after the age of 40. Every year, of course, we would like people to do their self-breast exams on themselves monthly. But if you feel a lump or something on that self-breast exam, obviously you need to call your doctor and get in and have that checked out. We're still promoting yearly breast cancer screenings. Screening's the best way. We'll pick up images or items on a mammogram way before you will feel it. Normally almost a year before you feel something, we'll pick it up on the mammogram. Catch it small enough, you can eliminate a lot of the mastectomy and stuff. Maybe it's just a lumpectomy or something like that.
You don't hear much talk about it, but is there breast cancer in men?
Yes, there is breast cancer in men. Not as much in women, but we do mammograms on men. Normally those are the male actually feels something or has a pain in the breast, and the doctors went in and done a physical exam, and we do find some things on men, breast cancer, breast little masses that are causing issues. So that's one of those things that we're constantly working on promoting.
And you also do just like looking for a baby, you go in and look for a gallbladder or something.
Absolutely, that's a misconception. Old Sound, people are like, oh, you're going to scan babies. No. We do a lot more in babies. In fact, babies is probably a third or maybe a fourth of the things we do with ultrasound. We scan breasts with ultrasound. Many times you come in and get your mammogram, and we see something on the mammogram, and to define what that is, we actually do an ultrasound. Many times, following that ultrasound, if we find something, we might do a biopsy with the ultrasound, which we actually do here in Sullivan. Gallbladders, vascular studies. We look at the arteries in your neck, looking for clogged arteries in your neck, which potentially could cause a stroke. We do veins of the legs, looking for blood clots. Everyone hears about the blood clots in the legs, or the blood clots that go to the lungs. That is potentially a life-threatening situation. We're one of the first screening tools that can be used to catch that stuff before it ever gets to the lungs and breaks loose.
And of course, you put yourself out there too, because when you walk in the radiology department, there's your picture. With a little statement, and people can contact you if they have a problem.
That's right. Right there in the radiology department, right in the window, my picture's up there with my office number and my cell phone number. The staff's picture is out there, so you can see the staff members, and we also have our radiologists. Same radiologists that read at Missouri Baptist in St. Louis come out to Sullivan. People get that misconception that just because I go to St. Louis to the med center, they're going to get a better exam by a better doctor. It's the same doctor. We have the same equipment. BJC makes a huge effort to make sure that they standardize equipment throughout BJC. So whether you're down at Barnes or Children's or Christian Northeast or Missouri Baptist up in St. Louis or here in Sullivan, we're providing the same exams that they are with the same type of equipment, the same docs.
And something else we need to make clear too, because my mother's one of them. She's been going to a doctor for years and years that's not a Missouri Baptist doctor, and they ordered something in another town. I said, that's not happening. We're going right across there to the hospital and get it done. And we did.
Right. You have a choice.
She's in the nursing home. We walked across the street. I pushed her across the street. She had it done at Missouri Baptist. It's more convenient on her, on me, on the world. So, you can tell your doctor, right?
Yeah, you can tell your doctor where you want to go. Big misconception that, what my doctor says, I have to go where they want to. You can go where you want to. You can see any doctor you want. We're open to that. But if you want your procedures performed here in Missouri Baptist Sullivan, we can do them right here. You don't need to drive. Just because your doctor's not a BJC doctor or another doctor, you don't have to drive for that exam. There's another huge benefit that people overlook with having your studies done in the same space. So if we do all your imaging studies, your mammogram every year, we have those images to compare over and over and over, which gives us a better quality reading. what we see is a lot of people bounce around between different facilities. And what happens is then we're out, and it actually delays the reading of your study and delays the report time, because we need to gather that data to give you the best possible reading that we can on that study and provide the best possible images. When you've got and say, hey, we need these images, we have to ask you to sign a consent, get that consent, send it to their facility, and then they mail them to us. That can take anywhere between, we've seen, a couple days to 2 or 3 weeks to get your results, and people are calling saying, hey, I really, why are my results not read? And it's like, well, we're still waiting for your images from the other facility to come to us.
And another thing I think we ought to stress, if you're in doubt, and I'll give you a case in point. My wife, she was just in there and had her ankle x-rayed because it had been giving her trouble. And when the doctor looked at it, he said, so when did you break your ankle? And she said, I never broke my ankle. So the only thing she can think of is back when she was in 7th or 8th grade. So she's had this, spurs in there. And so, if you have a big bad sprain or something, it's good to get it checked out, isn't it?
It's always good to, get any type of injury. You just never know.
And insurance usually covers it.
Insurance covers that stuff. That's what a lot of people, they tend to wait until they either get really, really sick, or
they become 57 years old.
Yeah, and then they don't pay attention to it, and then they have problems later on. If you're sick and not feeling right, if it continues, don't wait on that, because some of those things, I've seen people come in, they've had a cough. Oh, I've had a cough for 2 weeks. We get them in there, and suddenly we've got severe pneumonia, or there's some kind of lung nodule or mass in there that is growing over time that has been going on for this whole period. If you feel uncertain, probably time to go get it checked out. It's one of those things, better safe than sorry on that type of stuff.
Now you've got one of the departments at Missouri Baptist Hospital. You can't just walk in and say I need an X-ray. They've got to see a doctor first.
That's through the whole process. So you got to see a doctor to get your imaging studies, except for a screening mammogram. You don't need an order for screening mammogram. You schedule it yourself. The rest of the stuff, you go see the doctor. That's part of the process. Go see the doctor. Normal for general X-rays and ultrasounds. Most of those stuff, we can schedule it, get it in a day or two. One of the common misperceptions is with CT, MRI, and nuclear medicine type studies, they're more high-dollar things. Those have to get approved by your insurance. And we get people saying, well, why can't you get me in tomorrow? It's because we're waiting on the insurance to approve your study. There's things called insurance authorization. They have to authorize your study. Some of those they do in 24 hours. Some of them can take up to 5 days to get an authorization. Another thing is we may get you on the schedule and we're waiting for that insurance to authorize it, and they reject it. And then we have to call, and people get upset. Well, why are you rescheduling, or why are you canceling my exams? It's nothing that we really have control over. The insurance just says, we don't feel that there's something better that we'd rather have you do, or we need you to go through these certain steps to get that exam done, as such as, maybe you've got back pain. They may want you to do physical therapy before we actually image it. So that's, that does happen. So that's the understanding. People, say, well, you couldn't get me in for 5 days. It's not that we couldn't get you in for 5 days. We're waiting for that approval to get you in. Most of the time, we can get you in the same day or next day. Right. We have open spots. We're ready and more than willing. It's just become more and more complex with insurances and things. And then, then, of course, you come get your exam. And then you may wait a day or two for your report, because it's got to go back to your doctor for them to review.
And you don't want your people standing around. You want them working.
We want them going. And believe me, we'll take all the exams we can go. We've been really, really hot lately with a lot of exams coming through, and a huge volume. We're seeing huge growth. Healthcare, as the population, the baby boomers, as we call it, as they get older, we're seeing more and more exams. People get sick. The population's bigger in that age. So, of course, as the population gets older, you have more healthcare problems. So, of course, we're doing more and more procedures.
Well, you've got to be proud of your department, proud of the equipment and the technicians you have in your department.
Oh, I have top-notch staff. I truly believe in every one of my staff members. They're like family to me. I say they always say I wear my heart on my sleeve, is because I truly believe in them. They're special people. I'd put them up against any department, radiology department in the state, because they're top notch. They can outperform. Many of these guys will go up and actually help at the med center up in St. Louis scan when they have staffing shortages, and all I hear back from like, man, you have really, really high quality staff members down there, and how do you get those? And it's just because they're really dedicated to doing the best job that they can and keeping up with the technology and everything in the industry.
Well, Travis, we appreciate you coming in, being with us. It's a great department at Missouri Baptist, and we just want people to realize it's there. Tell your physician you want to go to Missouri Baptist. It's convenient. And it's right here in our community.
It's excellent. Our department is excellent, and we really hope that people come through, have an excellent experience, and can rate us and tell the community about the experiences they have with our hospital. That's one of the things is the public and the employees are the best marketing we have. If you have a great exam, please go and tell your friends and neighbors about your experience at the hospital.
All right, Travis, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, John.
Appreciate it. Travis Little with the Radiology Department at Missouri Baptist Hospital in Sullivan. That's